Ms. Barra, we do all thank you for returning to the committee today, as you said you would. 3 months ago, we held our first hearing on the GM ignition switch recall. We asked a lot of tough questions, but we got only a few answers. I expect things to go differently today. We have the Valukas report in hand, and we have its words seared in our minds. Our investigation tracks with the findings of the report, a maddening and deadly breakdown over a decade plagued by missed opportunities and disconnects. Engineers didn't comprehend how their cars operated or how vehicle systems were linked together. The company believed a car that stalled while driving wasn't necessarily a safety concern. Investigators let investigations drift for years despite having proof right before their eyes that an airbag system wasn't deploying when it should have. And all of this existed in a bureaucratic culture where employees avoided taking responsibility with a nod of the head. Ms. Barra, you have said you found the report deeply troubling as well. I find it very disturbing and downright devastating to you, to GM, to folks in Michigan who live and breathe pride in the auto industry, but most of all to the families of the victims. The recall announced on Monday this week makes it painfully clear that this is not just a cobalt problem. A new set of vehicles, including multiple Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick models, are facing an ignition switch recall for the very same kind of torque problem that lurked for over a decade in the Cobalt and similar small vehicles with fatal consequences for unsuspecting drivers, including 2 teens from my own community. Ms. Barra, Mr. Valukas, many questions today will focus on how and why this happened. I intend to focus on how we can make sure it never happens again. A culture that allowed safety problems to fester for years will be hard to change. But if GM is going to recover and regain the public's trust, it has to learn from this report and break the patterns that led to this unimaginable systematic breakdown. I want specifics on whether the changes you've already put in place really have made a difference. With the Valukas report, GM has provided an assessment of what went wrong. I want to be clear today that our investigation does continue. This committee has reviewed over 1 million pages of documents and interviewed key personnel from GM and NHTSA. While we're addressing GM's actions in response today, we will address NHTSA's part of the story in the near future. We don't yet have all the answers about what changes in our laws, the regulators' practices, or the company's culture would have prevented this safety defect from lingering so long or harming so many. But we're going to find out. Yes, we will. The system failed and people died, and it could have been prevented. I yield the balance of my time to